All right, guys. So in this module, we're going to talk a little bit about running your first ad. And I know this is kind of a big topic. People ask me this question all the time, simply because, if you've never done this before, it can be a little bit confusing going inside the ads manager, seeing everything, all the different options. I can tell you that, I myself was overwhelmed when it first started running ads. And that was back, 4 or 5 years ago when actually the ads manager was even a little bit simpler than it is now. There wasn't as many options. There wasn't as many different types of ads to run because Facebook wasn't too as advanced as they are now. So this is really a question that comes up all the time, which is why I'm putting this in the general, gold membership, and that's how this membership is going to evolve, is by the questions that you guys ask me. Then I'll just go into, doing trainings about that. So the first ad that you ever run, the first thing that you're going to do, obviously you can see, can be a little confusing, but so let's go ahead and hop into the ads manager. I think by now, you guys know how to get to the ads manager. If you don't, let's just do this. So let's say you go to your own regular Facebook, and up in this top right-hand corner, you'll see the drop-down arrow, and you can go to create an ad. It'll be the easiest way to get to the ads manager. We'll wait for this to load up, and boom, here we are. So this is probably the most confusing portion of running your first ad, because you don't necessarily know what to do. And like I said before, I've had people come into my office and ask me, so, like, hey Nick, I just want to run a regular ad. What do I do? Well, there's so many different options because Facebook's algorithm is always trying to give you the best performance for exactly what your objective is. And that's why these campaigns, they ask you right here, what's your marketing objective? And so simply put, these different categories are different ways that you can advertise your message on Facebook. And maybe I'll do a whole separate training on branding versus lead generation. But for now, I kind of want to throw that in here because these two categories right here under awareness are really for branding. And when I say branding, I mean, you're not necessarily thinking about running an ad under brand awareness or reach with the objective to get a lead or somebody to sign up with you. That's not who Facebook is going to target with these leads or these advertisements. So you have to be cognizant all the time of what your end goal is. So when you want to run a branding campaign in general, and I do this to like my database and my sphere, or people who might have bounced on my website and then come off. Maybe they were there a couple minutes and decided to leave and not come back. This is where surrounding your sphere, your database, anybody who comes in contact with you online is part of branding. So these three, from video views to reach and brand awareness, that's kind of on a more local level. So I don't necessarily use this one too often. That's like if you wanted to promote your local brick and mortar. I mean, you can absolutely use this if you want. I use reach and video views probably the most for actual branding ads, which would be something along the lines of, happy customer testimonial. So just for example, and I put this inside the Facebook group last week. Someone asked me for it. What do I do for retargeting? So when you think of branding yourself, and I try to talk about this a lot, like people don't necessarily care that we sell real estate. They don't care what we do, right? And as hard as it is to hear, like nobody really cares about you in general. As a marketer, as a business owner, you have to always think about what's in it for the customer, right? Because at the end of the day, they don't necessarily care what you think or what you do. It's how is that going to affect them. So if all you're doing is constantly blasting, look at this house I sold, or I'm the best real estate agent in town because I had 4, 5, 6, 10 closings last month. That's not necessarily the message that is best when it comes to attracting people, right? And I know some people do it and they have success and that's all they do. But for the most part, if you're out there and you can relate to people that you're in this business to help other people buy and sell real estate, and your main objective is coming from contribution, coming from help, which is why I found when I do branding campaigns or retargeting campaigns, most of the time it's customer testimonial based, meaning it's a picture of a happy couple, somebody that we closed, and then a short message basically saying, like, sold this home in one day with a happy customer. So it's not necessarily about me. It's about the fact that we did sell this house in 24 hours, which is the objective of the customer, which makes them happy. And then now we're in a place where we're kind of talking about real estate, but then also highlighting a happy couple. So when it comes to branding, when it comes to running your first ad, it depends on your price point and your budget, right? If you know that you have a certain budget in mind and you can spend that amount of money every single month, then you can experiment a little bit with branding and all that good stuff. But if you're on a fixed budget and the only reason you're on Facebook is to generate leads and that's it, you definitely want to look at a lead generation type ad, which is a lead form, which is a totally separate training. So if you want to watch that one, I did a specific training. I think it was about 90 minutes long on how to do a lead form ad. And then conversions, which would be actually sending people to your website and getting them to sign up. That's going to be hardcore. Now, you're not going to get necessarily the best, unless you've been doing this for a while, the best cost per acquisition, because this is going to be the smallest audience. So if you look at 1,000 people, Facebook is going to look at 1,000 people and say, how many of these 1,000 people are going to buy something or going to look at your offer and actually sign up and commit, as opposed to like an engagement ad. Facebook is going to say, okay, who are all the people that like to like and share posts and comments, which is a lot more people than like to go on Facebook and go to the conversion category. So if it was me and I'm running my first ad, I would definitely look into lead generation, because simply put, it keeps people on Facebook and you get their contact information from Facebook. So whatever their phone number, whatever their email address is that they signed up with, that's the contact information you will get for the ad, which is really, really cool. The second kind of ninja strategy. So if you're not necessarily doing videos yet, we'll do some more trainings on videos. This is still one of the most powerful things that you can do on Facebook. But traffic is also a good way to start building audiences. And I talked about that in a previous training inside the Platinum group on creating custom audiences. But if you guys don't have a big database and you really want to drive some traffic to a website, this will get people off of Facebook and onto your site. And then as long as you have the pixel installed on your website, it'll actually build that audience. You can actually create that audience inside Facebook to be able to retarget those people with basically a conversion message. So now you're high level, you're talking to the people through maybe one specific ad, getting them to your website. Maybe they don't opt in because they just bounce right off, but then now you're giving them a more enticing offer under the conversion category, and it's kind of like a 1-2 punch. So that being said, if you guys are interested, go to the lead form training. It's inside the Platinum group. And but for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about engagement, because this is another cool trick too. So when you look at engagement as a whole, there's a lot of people that are engaging on Facebook every single day. So when we run an ad as an engagement ad, this is a really good way to get your brand, your face in front of a lot of people, and it's the best bang for your buck let's say you have a just listed, okay, and you want to get a bunch of people to like, comment, and share. And so you can show the homeowner, hey, look at this marketing I did. I did this Facebook ad for you, and we reached 1,500 people, and 40 of them liked it, and this, that, or the other. So engagement's really powerful because that's what people are on Facebook to do, is engage. So if we click that, there's a couple of different ways. And this is the other ninja trick I'm going to show you guys too. So you can optimize for post engagements, which is, like I said, so if you're doing a just listed and you want to do like a just listed blanket the neighborhood to get people engaged with the new listing, you can do post engagement. You can do post likes if you want people to just like your business page, which also my instant social proof training, this is kind of what we do here, is page likes with engagement. So if you wanted to check that out, that's also in the platinum section. But this is the other one too, the event responses. Okay. So like I said before, I think everybody should have an event, an open house as an event. So this is a really good way to put out an open house ad as an event and get people really engaged and really signed up for and get more people to your open house. So as far as running your first ad, I'm sure more than a lot of people on here are doing open houses anyway. So why not have the first ad that you run on Facebook be an event ad where you can drive traffic to your open house? So essentially that's what we're going to do, right? So we're in here, we're ad set name. You can name this 123 Main Street. Let's say that's the name of the house. That's fine. And then a lot of times it depends on how much money you want to spend, but let's just say, for example, we want to target a zip code. Now you can get super narrow, but for this example, let's just say one zip code. Okay. So you see we're 123 Main Street. Let's say that's in Oldsmar, Florida. I just typed in the zip code and we got a reach of 34,000 people. Now it's not huge, but at the same time, we're going for engagement. We're going for getting our face out there, getting everybody to know that, hey, we have an open house. So not necessarily a bad thing. Okay. We can leave all this. We can do targeted if you want to, but I suggest you just kind of leave it open and just do zip code based because it's such a small audience to begin with. If you start narrowing down a lot, it might narrow it down a little bit too much, right? So we'll keep this all the same. Maybe we'll bump this up to, let's see what that does, to 25. Yeah, so we don't want kids there. 25 to 65, that's fine. Then we're going to scroll down. We'll go to placements. We want automatic. And then your daily budget, that's up to you. I recommend, if you guys are on a fixed budget, that you actually click lifetime budget, and that'll give you a start date and an end date. This is really important so you don't blow a bunch of money. Let's say you only want to run this ad for a week. So today's the 19th. Say you only want to run it to the 26th. And then you give Facebook a maximum cap and you say, we're only going to spend $50 on this ad, right? And we're going to run it for a week because, or let's say we'll run this, today's the 19th. Say we have an open house Saturday. Say we run it to Friday. Pretty plausible. Now we're $50. So as far as a daily reach, 30,000 people in this area, we could reach up to about 1,000 people a day, which is not bad. Optimize ad delivery. So this is where we picked before, event response. And that's pretty much it for, getting an open house. We want people to sign up. We want people to like it. Remember that this event is actually going on. And we'll leave all this the same. So we'll go next. We'll go to continue. And then this is where we would just put our regular, and we'll pick one of these pages. Pick my page. So we could do a single image, a single video, or a slideshow. Obviously, if you can shoot a video, that's great. If you have a really beautiful picture of the house, or if you have, 8 or 10 pictures of the house, you could do a slideshow. which slideshows are really nice too, because if you don't have a video, at least this makes it look video-esque, if you will, of having that, moving, capture someone's attention photo. Now let's see what photos I have in here, just as an example. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just add these in here. Aspect ratio, we'll keep it the same. Keep it at 1 second. Yeah, maybe we'll do a little fade just to check it out. So as you can see, that looks a little fast. Maybe let's try 2 seconds to see what that does. Yeah, so 2 seconds is a little bit better, right? So now we have beautiful pictures on a slideshow. Give it just 1 second to populate. So the cool thing about this is now we've targeted a zip code. We have an open house, right? We're going to run this event. We want people to show up. Now, one thing that you can do, this is the next step, is going to be the actual URL. So we do have to go into Facebook and create that event first in order to run it. So maybe I'll do that in a separate training, how to create an event. That'll be good. So what we would do is we would take the event URL. It would populate the actual event here. And then in the text, I always recommend, if you're doing an open house, just have, $25, $50 gas card, Visa gift card, something to where it would entice people to actually come to the event. Say you're doing a drawing, and it gives you an opportunity to actually get people, in the door. So it's really pretty much that simple, guys. For your first ad, because most people I know are running open houses, I think this is a great way to kind of get your feet wet in the Facebook, world of running advertisements, drive some traffic to your open house, get people who wouldn't normally be there for your drawing, and create that event and push that out to the masses, and watch how many more people will show up at your open house. You'll be amazed, because you're not just sticking signs in the front yard anymore. You are digitally putting signs all over Facebook for people to actually show up. So it's just a great example of stuff that you can do on Facebook pretty inexpensively, $20-$50 for a couple days. Run it, get some good traffic to your open house, and everybody's happy. So I hope you guys like that. If you have any questions about any of this, just go ahead and drop it in the Rockstar Facebook group. Obviously, I'm in there every single day, probably every single minute of every single day. So, but honestly, for your first ad to run, go ahead and just do an open house ad. You'll be surprised at how many people will show up. So hope you guys like that, and I'll see you on the next one.